to my vampire line. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hello.
I can give you several bits of proof. I tell you the industry that I'm in right now. I'm in the telemarketing industry, and I touch base with
Somewhat vampire-like, actually.
hundreds of people every day. Bob Keats, who's a well-known author, is a personal friend of mine.
All right. Well, I don't want to identify you too closely. You're telling us you really are a vampire.
I really am a vampire.
All right. First of all, what is...
Let me clear up a couple of things, though.
Please. In other words, what is a vampire? So we all might understand. You heard the facts I read, I take it, on the internet deal?
I'm afraid that I'm not familiar with that.
Oh, that's too bad. I'm sorry you didn't hear that. All right. Well, anyway, go ahead.
First of all, I have the ability to suck blood through fangs that I naturally have. However, I don't need to do that. As far as things like garlic, other things like that, sunshine, that's all a bunch of BS.
Yeah, I suspected that might be.
It doesn't hurt you at all.
Doesn't, huh?
As far as super strength and super adrenaline, that's absolutely true.
How about crosses and Bibles?
It actually has, it depends on your inner self and your own belief and your own faith and your level, within the cult. But actually, that shouldn't be too much of a hindrance either.
Are you in what you would call a cult?
I'm not in a cult. But I will say this. There are certain projections from my existence that do affect, on a cosmic level sometimes, different events that unfold as a direct result of situations that have been imposed on me in a negative manner. Negative energy feeds on negative energy.
Uh-huh.
And the darker and the deeper the negative energy is, the more power that comes out of that negative energy.
When a vampire takes from another, is a vampire taking the soul of that, or what we know to be, or think of us as a soul?
As a vampire, I can define for you the actual definition of a soul. Every living thing on the planet is surrounded by an electromagnetic field.
I believe that.
When you die, that electromagnetic field is released from your vessel. Housed within that energy is the essence of your soul.
Your essence.
Whether you're recycled into the vast electromagnetic field created by the core of the Earth, whether you escape the Earth and you go to the solar system, the center of electromagnetic energy in our solar system, and you're not going to believe this, but this is true. Jupiter has a great effect in this realm.
Well, what we're asking here, obviously, is, and I appreciate that definition. I don't necessarily disbelieve that, but are you able to interfere with that transition and, in effect, take that energy or that essence from a person?
Absolutely, 100%. You can actually feed on this energy. It is a massive energy. It affects computer systems. It affects electrical circuitry. It affects the photoelectric cells in street lights. It affects psychological behavior in humans.
Do you regard yourself as evil? You mentioned darkness, the darkness. Evil?
If you walk out into a dark pasture and you don't feel afraid,
yes,
does that make you evil because you're surrounded by darkness and you feel comfortable?
I'm not sure how to answer that. So you're saying it's subjective?
Absolutely.
All right. I really appreciate your call. Thank you. And that gives me something to think about. Dear Mr. Bell, please, sir, you must listen to me. I have met a vampire on the internet, and for the last few days now I've been afraid to sleep because of what might happen to me in my dreams. It appears this vampire is using the net as a way to meet its victims. It also appears this particular vampire doesn't drink blood, but it does try to seduce you so it can steal your body for one of its demonic friends. On the night this all happened, I was so scared that I locked up the house, got out a white bar of soap and marked all my windows with crosses. Here is a transcript of what occurred on the internet. It is 2 pages and double typed, so I'll be able to get through it here quickly. I was in this chat room, a kind of cyber singles bar located on the web. I was contacted by what I believed to be a female who introduced herself as Claudia. She told me she was a vampire, asked me if I wanted to chat. First I thought it was some kind of stupid joke, so I agreed to chat. She sent me a description of herself. Here we go, right? Told me she liked to dress up in black skin-tight spandex bodysuits with black knee-high, high-heeled leather boots and black leather gloves. She described herself as looking as if she was 17, but then actually she was much older. She said she had white, almost pale-colored skin, long dark hair, big brown eyes, long slender legs, and a small oval face. Sounds cute, huh? I asked her if she was going to suck my blood or something, and she told me real vampires don't do that. She said that if I wanted her, I mean really wanted her, that I would give her my soul. I said, okay. She said that tonight she would come to me in my dreams, and that tonight I would be a king. She also told me if I wanted it, that she could come to me in any form, male or female. I told her I loved women and that she would do just fine. She said that tonight I would journey to the other world. She said that tonight I would be king. Tomorrow I would be one of them. She told me the land of the dead and the world of dreams are one and the same. I was then told to remove any religious symbols or pictures and Christian Bibles from my room. I was told that, if possible, I should leave some access to my room open. I was also told that she had some problems going through doors, windows, and walls. I was even told that the sex could be 10 times better if I would just take the time to break an egg into a small bowl and then urinate on it. I was told I should sprinkle some urine on my feet before I went to bed at night. Yuck. I was told that the bowl was supposed to be placed at the foot of my bed. The egg and urine were supposed to be some kind of offering. I was told the offering was being made to its Tuksamen, whoever that is, Tuksamen. She then promised me the best sex I'd ever had. She told me my orgasm would last forever, that when I awoke I'd be in another world, a world of magic and dream. She told me that this new world was also known as the etheric plane. She told me when she came for me, my soul would leave my body. She said that once I was in her arms, she'd break the fine silver cord attached to the top of my head, and that my body would be given to another, someone much stronger. Finally, she said that the other name for this person, this Tuksamen, was the soul sucker. That's it. Then I received these. Art, remember a few shows ago when you read a fax on the air, said that it was from someone who said they'd met a vampire on the internet somewhere on IRC? Well, I'll tell you, I've been hunting for her because I want to ask her some questions. And I won't do anything to get myself, quote, in trouble, end quote, right? Believe me. Well, that guy said her name was Claudia, and I went into a vampire room and asked someone if they'd seen her. They have vampire rooms? Anyway, he said he spoke to her yesterday. Maybe it's the same Claudia or not, but I think it is, and I'll keep you posted. By the way, that night when you read the facts, I really couldn't and didn't want to sleep. It was kind of frightening to me. And then this. Your listener who sent the account of the internet vampire is indeed doomed. This particular vampire is an incubus or succubus, a sexual predator who steals souls from unknowing individuals, draining them like the classic vampire. Usually, they can be warded off with any religious symbol as long as the faith of the user is strong. In other words, a cross won't work if you don't believe in God. I hope Dominique in Washington is well. So, there you've got it. The old, the ancient, the occult moves to the new, the amazing, the enveloping internet. Truly a marriage made in hell. On the first-time caller line, you're on the air. Hello?
Hello.
Yes. Hello.
This is Steve from Tacoma.
Hello, Steve.
I've been listening to your show, and you have some people out there that know a little about supernatural things, and I had something kind of freaky happen to me today.
Okay.
Me and my friend were at the grocery store, so I know this wasn't something that I just saw. We're sitting there, my girlfriend was in the grocery store, and we were waiting out in the parking lot, and there was this crow I noticed on top of a grocery store.
Oh, yes.
And he was looking at us.
Yes.
And I sat there and I was joking with him, saying, you know, it's not a good thing when a crow is sitting there just staring at you, because it just sat there and stared at us.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, that's bad enough. But if they begin to sneer at you, that's really bad.
Well, this crow just had a blank look on its face, this face. So he was looking at it too, and we were joking around.
Yeah.
And then the thing just vanished in thin air right in front of us. We didn't look away and turn back, and it was gone. It just both disappeared. It just disappeared as we're both looking at it, and we just kind of both looked at each other. And
well, I've got a little advice for you.
What's that?
If I were you, I wouldn't sleep tonight. What are you laughing at?
That's what I'm doing. That's why I'm up right now.
Hey, you're
I
up
usually don't stay
up
up this late, but when I do, I listen to you, and so I have no idea what that means. And
well, I don't know. I mean, do you care about your soul?
Yeah.
Stay awake.
I think I'm going to be doing that for a while.
See you later.
See you later.
Bye. Actually, I have no idea. I just thought I'd collect another listener who'll be with us till the end of the show. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Oh, hi, Art. This is Bonnie from Clear Lake, California.
Well.
Well. Last night, I don't know if you heard, I heard that a 41-year-old heir to the Rothschild fortune killed himself in France. And
oh, no.
I was just wondering if it had anything to do with...
all that money, why would he kill himself?
I was just wondering if it had anything to do with what Robert Morningsky was talking about, how some heir was supposed to be the one. Maybe he didn't like the idea of being the one.
You mean the anti-guy?
Yeah.
You think?
Well,
maybe what he did is, maybe he went into the bathroom and he was innocently brushing his zillion-dollar teeth, as he does every morning, and he looked down and he saw 3 6s hidden in the hairline as it was receding, and that was it. He couldn't take it. He went, that's got to be it, Bonnie. Thank you. I read the Internet vampire story a few moments ago, and now I have received this. Listen now. Arthur, I've been away for some time now, but I returned tonight to hear you speaking of Claudia and her exploits on the Internet's IRC channels. I fear the harm has already been done, but I sincerely hope, if you read this to your audience, it will help to curb some of what is certain to occur. Our friend Claudia is indeed an immortal. I think she calls herself a vampire simply because there are so many people, especially on the Internet, who are fascinated with vampires. Now, see, I didn't know that. She uses Claudia because that is the name of the child vampire in Anne Rice's novel, Interview with the Vampire, which has been recently brought to life in the form of a movie. I just have to say to all of those people who have heard your show that what Claudia and her type are doing is purely evil. And by reading that letter, not only have thousands of victims been lured to the vampire rooms on the Internet, but many, many of Claudia's kind are now aware of the grand pool of victims present there as well. Indeed, as you have undoubtedly surmised, there are a great deal of immortals who listen to your show. Yes, I know that. Please, to all those listening, do not fall victim. You will lose your soul. As some callers have previously stated, religious symbols will protect the faithful. However, there are immortal predators that are not affected by that sort of thing. Whew. So there you have it. And then this, Art, vampires on the internet? Well, what do I say? Superstition lives, eh? Maybe you should open a vampire line. Matt in Portland. Matt, you're a genius. Yes, a vampire line. I have never talked to a vampire. Now, I've got a computer sitting right here. I'm half tempted to go up there and take a look and see if there are vampire rooms. I've never seen one. Now, anyway, I hereby and officially, and I will screen the calls. I'm warning you ahead of time. When I have special function lines, I screen my calls. Yes, a vampire line. Are there really any vampires out there? Now, you know, this is a great promo for the show that I'm going to be doing Sunday, because I am going to be doing the first program I've ever done on Dreamland on vampires. Konstantinos is going to be my guest, author of Vampires, the Occult Truth. And you can darn well bet I will save this story, internet story, for Konstantinos. And we're going to do a show about vampires. But in the meantime, I thought tonight that Matt here in Portland is dead on the money. Let us do it. Let us open a vampire line. Only vampires. Real vampires. Anybody caught joking around, if I can recognize your voice, and after all the years of doing this, I'm getting very good at that. Anybody joking around will be ejected for all time, eternal, on this program. So unless you're a serious vampire, don't you call this line. Only real vampires. Serious vampires. Now, east of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Hey, Art, this is Robert, New Orleans.
Hello, Robert.
How do you do,
That's Anne Rice country.
Yeah. Let me tell you something about some of these people telling themselves vampires.
Uh-huh.
First, a vampire can't take the soul unless you're willing to give it to him.
I believe that's right, yes.
That is exactly true, if folklore is right.
Did you hear the man, though, who called earlier and said that he had been in a certain club there in New Orleans, as a matter of fact?
That's what I'm going to tell you about. I had my bachelor party there.
You did?
There was 25 of us who, in the condition we were in, could have took the soul if they wanted it.
In other words, if she'd been pretty enough, and she would have been after that many beers or whatever.
Oh, that's right, pal. They could have just grabbed up a bunch of us in a heartbeat.
You'd have taken one look at her, you'd have said, yes! And she'd have said, soul, and you'd have said, yes, sure!
And there's not even 4 floors to the place. It's a little small place on the corner.
Uh-huh.
It's not big enough to be something like that. Now, a bunch of strange people hang out there.
No, wait a minute. This is no rap on the place. This is simply where he met that person, that's all.
Well, I don't believe that for a heartbeat. I mean, I go down there, I live here, I go in the quarter all the time.
So you're trying to tell me you do think it's a place?
No, not for vampires it wouldn't be.
Oh.
They wouldn't put it on...
Well, yeah, but you see, a vampire really could be anywhere. A vampire could be on the internet, a vampire could be in a club, a vampire could be somebody you'd meet in the grocery store, for all I know.
No, this is voodoo country. Vampires
I know it is.
Like in our voodoo country.
I know it is. Yeah,
because we're protected by that, by all the gree around the place, supposedly.
Uh-huh.
Now, this is where zombies come from, or people are put under spells to do certain things. Not really for...
Do you believe that about New Orleans? I mean, is it that mystical a place?
It is to some people, and a lot of people want to believe that, and it draws a lot of tourists because of it. But,
I'll bet. I mean, but do you believe it?
It used to be.
It's not like it used to be.
No. Now it's just a real big party town. And we're waiting for you to come here.
Well, I'm going to be doing that.
You said you're going to come down for Mardi Gras one of these years. You got to.
And I'm going to. Yes, I'm going to. But you need to understand. They chain me here.
I believe that.
I'm chained to my chair here.
Well, one day I'm going to come out that way when I'm heading back to Hawaii to visit some relatives, and we're going to stop by around your area.
Then I also believe that when I die, they are going to lop off my head using new technology, mount me in a box, put me in front of a microphone, and make me talk forever. Thanks for the call, sir.
All righty, bye-bye.
East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi.
Good morning, Art. The guy you just had on claimed to be a vampire?
Yes.
I think he's full of malarkey because that was, I saw a movie about 10, 11 years ago that was the exact same thing he said called Life Force.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that movie?
Well, no, but there have been many movies, sir, about life force or what the soul is or what the essence is. And what he had to say, whether it was in a movie or not, is as reasonable a definition of what we think of as a soul as any.
Well, see, in the movie, it was the space vampires, and in fact, our spaceship was around Jupiter. When I heard that, I said, my God, I think he's talking about that movie I saw.
Might have been. Sounded serious to me.
Okay, then.
Where are you?
Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Milwaukee. You think you've got vampires in Milwaukee?
Well, some nights we think we do.
Thanks for the call. I want to hear from Louisville. This is a very strange story. Maybe my wife will come up with a vampire for me in the Periscope room. First time caller line? No, wrong. Vampire line. You're on the air.
Oh, or I couldn't take listening to those ones that were saying that they were vampires. I don't know what they are, but where was the blood?
Are you a vampire?
I was. I gave it up.
Well,
I would
so
say
you're a former vampire?
I would say that on an etheric level, I probably still am, but I'm
well. All right.
I'm not.
All right. After you didn't like what they said, let's hear what you've got to say. What is a vampire? Are you a seducer?
No, it's not about sex. It's not about seduction.
Well, no, but a seduction is required for a. At least as I understand it, I read this thing on the internet, and she promised sex, but used that only to seduce him into saying he would give up his soul.
It's just seduction business. No, that's like somebody else that knew more mentioned the incubus.
Yes.
Yes, that's an entirely different level of being. A vampire.
What is
a vampire wants blood, but all this happens on the astral plane.
All right, slow up. Did you actually?
I have had blood on this plane, yes, and I've had blood, a lot of blood on the astral plane.
Human blood?
Oh, yes.
And what is it that it does?
What does the blood do? Well,
yes.
It's on the astral plane. It's like flying out to the stars.
All right, forget the astral plane because I don't know.
That's where it starts, but. Eventually it starts to bleed through. I mean, you just get taken over. You realize that you've got to do it. You've got to do it in the physical, and that's what you start seeking.
Yes, I understand. And so then you actually seek out people. I mean,
yes, and the coward. I don't want to call myself a coward, but the more timid amongst us will do it by asking and finding people that want to give their blood. But there are those that enjoy taking it by force. And
now, how many? All right, let me stop you there. I would think going up to somebody, or even in a social circumstance, and saying something like, hey, how about a little blood? Just wouldn't go over. I mean, how do you get somebody to agree to that?
Well, there's like a mutual attraction, or on some level you can see you can sense who's into that.
So then there is an element. You say not seduction. I understand, but it's a kind of a seduction, though, isn't it?
I wouldn't call it a seduction. Some people are just out there wanting to give their blood, but I've also had blood from people that didn't know that. I'm a nurse, so I was, sort of an optimal place to get fresh blood.
Oh, my goodness! I hadn't thought of that aspect of it. In other words.
Oh yes, there's many ways when you get desperate.
In other words, if you're really in need, you just order up a pint of whole, type O, whatever.
I wouldn't order it up. I would get it.
Oh.
Oh yes.
And all right.
Obviously, I won't give my name.
Amazing. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't.
There's a lot of vampires in the healthcare field. There's a lot of vampires working grave shifts. So. Third shift, brave shift, whatever you want to call it.
I never thought of that.
Oh, yeah.
Now, in movies about vampires, they will show vampires going out and, let's say, I think I saw the Anne Rice movie, Interview with a Vampire, and really the vampire didn't want to kill people, so the vampire would go out and first take the blood of rats, take the blood of animals, small animals, that kind of thing, but inevitably was drawn to human blood.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Really?
I've never had animal blood.
You started off mainlining humans, huh?
Yeah, human blood.
And what do you think that you gained from that? And what did you lose?
Well, it's like a form of nourishment. It really is. And it came to the point where I felt like the only thing I wanted to live on was blood. I could hardly stand to eat food.
Wow. And for how long in your life did this go on?
Well, let me rack up the years here. Intensely, no more than 5.
5 years.
But you know, with the AIDS thing, that really put a cramp in my style. That was.
Yeah, a lot of
that was
people
kind of the beginning of the
that.
end. That's when I just started to get it became so difficult.
Is there
some vampires on a physical plane? There are people that actually that kill people.
I understand.
Yeah, that happens.
Now across America, there is this thing going on with animal mutilations, with the blood removed from animals. All kinds of horrible, strange things going on. Could it be satanic cults, vampires?
I don't know. Vampires aren't satanic.
They're not satanic.
They're not consciously satanic. No, it has nothing to do with devil worship. It never did for me. But there is, and I think you need to get back to the astral. I know that you've had some talk on the show also of astral traveling and so forth. I feel that unless you're doing it in a sort of in a prayer mode, or you're kind of really aligned up with whatever, however you worship God,
yeah,
you're in great danger.
Now to my vampire line. You are on the air.
Good morning, Mr. Bell.
Good morning.
Before we start, I'd like to say one thing. After 15 years of Coast to Coast, it's about time you got around to us.
Well, I know. It is one of those things that I don't know how I've overlooked you suckers, but apparently I have, and that is now over. As you can see, this morning we're doing vampires, and so tell us about it. You claim you are a vampire, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, let's hear your story, vamp.
Well, I became a vampire on June 8th, 1966. I was approximately 25 years old at the time.
June 8th.
I was seduced by a female, and ever since then I have had to survive off of feeding off of other people.
All right. Without giving me the no doubt titillating details of the seduction, would it be fair to say that she traded herself to you for your soul?
Yeah, that would be a fair estimate.
I mean, was there actually... Were you bitten? I don't even know if biting is the right word. I don't even know if that physical act occurs. Now, you heard the nurse before this hour. She said she drank blood.
Yes, the drinking blood part is optional. It depends on how you get your nourishment. You can feed off of blood, souls, or emotions.
Blood, souls, or emotions. So you can literally take the essence, then, of another person.
Yes.
And what does that do for you? It nourishes you, it makes you stronger, it makes you immortal. What does it do?
It does all that. It gives you your nourishment, and it's addictive. You cannot get by without it.
I've heard that. There have been strange, obscure stories in the news. There was a story, for example, about a wife who I think was killed by her husband, who had seen a movie about vampirism and actually drank his wife's blood.
That's entirely possible. Some people get into it just because of a mental state or implanted thought. Mm-hmm. Others have no choice.
Don't you think that what you're doing, do you regard what you're doing as evil?
I suppose that all depends on which part of it you take. If you actually take a life, or if you deprive somebody of their soul, yes, I consider it evil.
And if you feed on their emotions, if you feed on their being, that is not evil?
I suppose it could be considered evil, but you leave them whole also.
All right, back on June 8th, 1966, did this woman tell you what she was doing?
In a roundabout way, yes. She did not come right out and say it.
Then how do you know it happened?
Afterwards, it was brought to my attention rather abruptly.
Are you then compelled?
Yes, you are. You, like I said, you have no choice. You become addicted. And you have to feed.
That's odd. I appreciate your call. Thank you. All right, there's another one. You know, there have been novels written, Anne Rice writes them. We will do this subject on Dreamland coming up this Sunday. I am never disappointed in this audience. I mean, if you stick with it long enough, you're going to get the real thing. I mean, if there is really such a thing as vampires, and whether there is or not, it seems like an awful lot of people believe that there is, and that they are such a thing. Isn't that something? On my vampire line, you're on the air.
Good morning, Mr. Bell.
Good morning.
You wanted to speak to a vampire?
That's right.
A real one.
That's correct.
You're talking to one. The name's Peter. I have been a vampire since October 21st, 1927.
Wait a minute. October 21st, 1927?
Exactly.
You're then obviously immortal?
Exactly.
How did you become a vampire?
I was brought into this world by my master. His name was Gregory. He took me on that date after I surrendered my soul to him.
You know what I'm curious about? How did Gregory talk you into it?
I had just lost my love to another man. In anger, he came to me and gave me an option. And I took it.
You were or are a homosexual?
No.
Oh, you had lost your love, I'm sorry, a woman
Yes.
to another man.
Yes.
You were angry.
Mm-hmm.
And this man offered you what?
A chance for revenge and immortality. And I was willing to surrender my soul for it.
Revenge and immortality. Revenge in what form?
I took them both.
You did?
Yes, I did.
Killed them?
Exactly.
By taking their blood?
As much as I could.
Apparently sufficiently.
Yes.
And you have been about since 1927?
Yes.
How old were you in 1927?
I was 25.
25. And has the process of aging within you ceased?
Yes, exactly. I am the same age I was since then.
That's absolutely amazing. Do you have regrets? Are you sorry? Is it a terrible existence?
Why would I have any regrets?
I'm just asking.
For trading my soul? What a puny thing to lose when there's no more right or wrong. There's no more conscience. Nothing can stop you. You take what you want, and there's nothing there to stop you. Why would I have any regrets?
When did right and wrong stop?
Since that day.
For you?
Yes.
Well, I suppose there's a lot of ways of looking at it. You claim you are immortal, and yet the world someday will end, physically end. At that point, wouldn't you be a bit of a lost soul?
Well, yes, you can look at it that way, but how do you know it's going to ever end?
Well, you don't. So from your point of view, no right, no wrong, you just take what you need.
Exactly.
And I am curious, now what is it you need to sustain yourself in this immortality?
The blood of a living person.
And how frequently is that needed?
Oh, I often do it once every 2 weeks. If I'm really, really in the mood, maybe 3 times a week.
What about the law? I mean, do you not fear being caught in the act?
No. Never. Never have it. That's one of the things you lose. There is nothing to fear now. There is nothing to fear.
Once the soul is gone and lost. Is it, as we understand it, evil?
Evil.
Yeah.
You can see so many people, what is good and evil? Just because you're not like me, you're good?
No, it was a question, not a statement with regard...
Well, no. Well, here's what I'm trying to get at. Good. Doesn't a normal man kill? For his food?
Yes.
For his freedom?
Yes.
So what's evil?
Well...
You see it as black and white.
Possibly the surrendering of one's soul is an evil thing. I don't know that for sure. I'm asking. I kind of feel it is.
Well, that's one interpretation of it, I guess. You can say that. Okay, if I am evil, I'm evil.
Subjective.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, among my brethren, we don't say anything evil about it.
I understand. Have you brought others into this same situation?
A few. Some that I feel are worthy.
Worthy.
Yeah. Some aren't.
What would make a person worthy of receiving this this gift from your
I'll give you an example. We had one that we brought across, and eventually his conscience got to him. Okay?
Yeah.
That's a mistake. We can't have that. Once you decide to come across, you have to abandon everything.
Are there many like you?
There's more than you would believe. They could be your next door neighbor. They could be a cop driving a police car.
I appreciate your call, Peter.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hello, Mr.
Hello.
Bell.
How are you?
Not good.
Not
I'm
good.
very ill right now.
You're ill?
Yes. And right now I'm very shaky. I had several convulsions this evening. I have an irresistible compulsion to receive a life force tonight.
You're claiming you're a vampire.
Please do not use that word. That word was brought forth by your own history and folklore.
It's all I knew. What should I call you?
My soul is damned. I don't enjoy this, Mr. Bell.
All right, then why?
I don't enjoy this at all.
Then why did you get into it then?
I had no choice.
Well, tell me.
I'll give you a small and short history.
All right.
As much as I can remember.
Go right ahead.
In the early 20th century, somewhere, I don't remember exactly, 1909, 10, somewhere around there, I played professional baseball in New York City on a team, the New York Nine, one of the very first professional ball clubs here in the United States of America.
Okay.
Upon that team were several players who had homosexual tendencies.
Okay.
Anyone who tells you that a damned soul's life has nothing to do with sex is a liar, Mr. Bell. Avidity and lust feeds the fire. Every part of my life details with sex and lust and desire.
And that was the...
Now, I was taken by one of my teammates. I don't remember exactly. A person never does. Right now, your papers talk about repressed memory syndrome. I believe I have a repressed memory syndrome. I can remember several details of being indoctrinated. But since then, much of it's a blur. I hear you smoke. You have a compulsion to smoke, is that correct?
Yes.
My compulsion is similar to yours. You cannot go without a cigarette for a day or so. I cannot go without a life force or nourishment for longer than 24 hours. The longer I live, the worse it becomes. I can tell you what it's like in detail, how the life force is taking. Would you be interested?
Go ahead.
I will tell you one thing. Once you spill the blood, once you've tasted the blood, and I'm calling it blood right now because that is what your folklore and your history has provided. I have the soul. You become that person. You take that soul. Now.
And that nourishes you, feeds you?
No, it doesn't.
Sustains you?
It keeps me from doing it again within 24 hours or however the time span is. Now, I don't have much time here. I'm very ill.
All right.
I'm very ill.
I will let you go to whatever it is you're going to do. That is an interesting description. That it is a compulsion, as other things are compulsions. He compared it to smoking. Something you have to do, something you have to repeat. Now, I asked him, was it sustenance? Was it maintenance? And his answers just sort of seemed to be that it had to be. He had to do it. He has a compulsion to do it. An interesting answer and plausible. Art, vampires are not evil in the sense that Claudia is. They are simply a product of their nature. They do consume blood. However, they do not need it nearly as much as is commonly believed. After they are, quote, embraced, end quote, which is the word used to describe when a human is taken and transformed into a vampire, they need to replace the blood which was taken from them in the process almost immediately. However, after that, they only need, in caps, to feed every few days. And as months and years pass, they must feed less and less. The blood does not get digested and ejected as food does. It becomes transformed into vampire tissue and begins to harden and strengthen the organs. Eventually, the entire body will have been transformed and blood is no longer necessary. I do not know any individuals who have achieved it. Typically, in modern times, vampires mostly feed off the willing. They lure a following and feed off of them in small amounts to quench their thirst. However, there are vampires who are evil in nature and do enjoy the hunt. They are very good at the game, have learned methods of avoiding authorities. Vampires cannot get AIDS. They're not human any longer. They cannot fall ill from disease, any disease that would afflict man, and can only be killed through unique means. The only illness I've ever known to afflict a vampire is through a type of magic that hinders the flow of energy that night gives them. On the first-time caller, no, the vampire line, you're on the air.
Vampire line. I've already called you once before.
Not tonight, right?
Oh, no, not tonight.
Yes, right.
A long time ago.
All right.
This took a lot of courage because I usually don't like to talk about what I am. But I can dispel a couple of myths for you.
Fire away. Take a bite out of it.
When a vampire is not initiated into being a vampire is born a vampire, period. The people that are initiated into it, all they really are hosts. In other words, they supply the blood for the true vampire.
Vampires do require blood.
I'm afraid so. There is a way to get around it, and often a vampire will be born this way and not realize it for quite some time.
By that time, they must be famished.
Well, there are, like I said, ways to get around it.
For example, well, we're listening.
For one thing, this is going to really inspire a lot of phone calls from other people that say they're vampires. But for one thing, diet, and oddly enough, the addition of iron does hold the disease at bay.
Now that's interesting. Iron, as in iron poor blood.
That's correct. Are you still there?
Well,
I heard it click. That's what
really?
I wondered.
Well, it probably just happened.
I can tell you only this, and I'll try to make it brief.
All right.
I did not know I was a vampire until I had minor surgery, which turned into major surgery.
Right.
And then I had this blood transfusion, and when I came home,
yes,
and the doctor notified me that he had to give me more blood than usual.
Yes.
I came home and I felt like I was on top of the world, and I couldn't understand why. And I can't explain the feeling.
It was the infusion.
It was the transfusion.
Yeah.
And
but how did you?
How did I know?
How did you make the jump from that feeling of well-being or wellness?
Because I could have very well been addicted to the transfusion itself. And I feel that vampirism, while it's an adjective, that is really all it is. It might not be an accurate adjective of a medical condition.
Well, what exactly is it for you?
Okay, we were talking about the transfusion. The transfusion I had, and like that one fellow that called in and said it was addicting.
Yeah.
That's the way I felt after I had the transfusion. Like I was addicted to something because I felt so great. And when I mentioned it to my doctor when I saw him,
yeah,
he got a very weird look on his face and did not want to stay in the same room with me. I was quite young.
I understand.
But then I realized what I was striving for.
I mean, you actually admitted this to your doctor.
Well, I just told him that I felt great after the transfusion, and I couldn't figure out why.
Were you eyeing his neck at the time?
No. What I think was in the back of my mind was to talk him into giving me another transfusion.
A little RX.
Yeah, and so he became nervous. I didn't realize why, and he left the room.
I understand.
Well, okay, now about 3 months later,
right,
I went into convulsions. And I scared the holy heck out of my parents.
How old were you then?
I was in barely 20, I think.
20.
It was a long time ago.
Okay.
And so they called the doctor because they were there, visiting me at my house.
Yes.
And when he came in, I heard him talking, and he says, well, she must have had a reaction to the transfusion. And so I accepted that. I thought, yeah, that's what's wrong with me. And so he gave me some pain pills. He had not had me on pain pills before, but he had to then.
Right.
And I got over it, but it took a long time. But I never quite felt as good as I did on the transfusion.
So did you ever go out and...
No.
So you kicked the habit around.
I ordered my steaks rare and noticed I felt somewhat better, but not really like the transfusion, okay? It still didn't dawn on me why. Because I talked to a friend.
What I'm asking you now is, in all that time, to your present age, have you ever revisited the same feeling that you had?
I sometimes miss the feeling that I got with the transfusion, yes. I, began to slowly but surely realize, well, that must be a vampire, and it was not a blood mismatch like I had been talked into believing it was, because I wouldn't have felt so great after I had it.
But, I mean, what I'm really asking is, haven't you ever wanted to go out and acquire some...
No, I think that's a fetish. Now, there might be different kinds of vampires, too.
Well, now, listen. All right, well, listen, I've got to run.